Today on the Central Canvas, I'm joined with Maija Rantala.
I briefly interrupt this podcast recording to properly pronounce Maija's last name, Rantala. There you go. We're getting there. Enjoy.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Stephanie.
So you are an intuitive artist and heart guide. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
Well, intuitive artist just means that I create art from within, from my depths, really follow the lead of what wants to come through from inside of myself. And that's the inspiration for my art. And yeah, from different artist descriptions, I think the intuitive artist just feels most close to me. And yeah, that's how I like to think about it. Heart guide is relevant to that as well, because my art has a lot to do with finding the love within, finding that warm and encouraging part within ourselves that is always there, that helps us through when it gets a little bit hard, when the self-judgment is really intense. And yeah, there's a place within us that can always help us. I feel really passionate about it because I think it's such a powerful force of rebellion to all the self-criticism and all the harshness that we often have towards ourselves, and especially for myself, at least I've experienced. So yeah, that's a little bit about those.
I can totally understand what you mean, like about like feeling like sometimes like the heart is almost constrained in this day and age. And I love that about like your work. I came across one of your posts and you were like describing like in detail all like the little, beautiful, I don't know, just stories behind every piece of like that art. And I was just like, every time you would talk about it, I'm like, yes, that makes so much sense. And then the way that you were like describing this beautiful like image of this woman, and she has her like blue heart, and then she's like pushing her hands like out, and you're like describing that she's like giving it to the world, but only after like it's been received like through herself. And then there's like a little cat on the shoulder. Oh my God. I died. I was like, that cat. Like, that is so cute.
The cat. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you so much.
Yes. I love that image so much. And it spoke to me so deeply because there's so many little things that are part of it, like the little mug and the little bird. And your work is just, it's so deep, but when you look at it, it's just so easy to like view. Like you're looking at it and you're wondering like, what is it that I'm looking at? And then you're like, it's a bird. Of course it's a bird. It's a beautiful little delightful bird, like on a little mug. So I've been just amazed with your work and how it like comes through and your energy that comes through. So I'm so excited to have you here today to talk to me about your creative process. So
yeah, likewise.
yeah, tell me a little bit about like, how do you like begin a painting like that, for instance?
I just painted the background, and this is often how it goes. I choose a background color for my pieces, whatever I feel like painting. And then I just start to sketch, like the actual picture that I want to paint on it. Sometimes I already do that directly with paints. Often I use black paint, black acrylic paint, just to create the form. And then I just color it in with however I feel like the spaces need to be colored in. And that's just how it goes. And sometimes there are, colors or forms or characters that I just initially really dislike. And sometimes I do end up changing or shifting those parts a little bit. But especially recently, I've tried to just sit with those uncomfortable expressions that come onto the canvas or onto the paper. And I've noticed that whenever I've been able to do that, just to be with that a little bit longer instead of just trying to fix it, it shows me something about myself. Like, oh, why was there such a like resistance? Like, in a way, like, who cares if I feel like there's something wrong in this painting? Like, maybe I can like explore that a little bit further instead of thinking that I immediately know that it's wrong. And let's be honest, sometimes there are also moments where it's like, I just need to change this. Like, this is not going to work. But like the intention at least is to be like, hey, what is this painting trying to tell me? And I think this is like at the core of how I like to paint and how I just love it so much, because it becomes like such a cool and interesting self-discovery tool. Like, you can literally talk with yourself through your creations. And for somebody who's always had like a very like vivid imagination and a lot of like thinking and like the head is always on, like this has been for me just like the best healing, because thank God I found painting, because I don't know what I would do with all this, thoughts and emotions and inner world that is just so on all the time, you know.
I love
And
how
I
you
think,
did that. That
yeah,
is,
and I think this is also how I feel like all the details and all the colors and like everything in the painting, they carry so much meaning, because I don't know, I finally have a place where I can put all that meaning
yes.
into. So it's like a dynamic. Sometimes it comes through me, and sometimes the painting just kind of tells me, and I'm there kind of interpreting it. And it's just so cool.
I love that so much. It's so refreshing when I can hear an artist describe what I want to describe, but I'm
Yeah,
like, I
yeah,
can't figure out the words, and you just put it
right.
like into words. It's that very feeling when I'm in my headspace and I just want it to become like something tangible, something that I can like experience like for my own eyes, like
Yeah,
and and also share it, and like through color and texture and all these different ways. It's like, oh my gosh, this is an expression of what's been inside me, and now it's like here in front of me. And it's so
exactly.
exciting.
Like, it's the coolest thing. Like, we can make things from inside of ourselves, from the depths of us, and whoever knows how they got there, but then we can bring them forth, and they don't have to weigh us anymore. Because at least, like, you can maybe relate to this experience, but like, at least I get so easily kind of stuck inside of myself, you know? So therefore, also creating is like this act of freeing myself from these chains, because the overthinking, like the inspiration is amazing, but it can so easily also, flip onto the other side, which is like the overthinking. And then you're completely stuck in your own little bubble of whatever illusions and horrible thinking, and you're just like, what happened? So it's like, let's just get in there, let's go and create something, and like try to give it space, instead of like make the thoughts into meanings. Let's make the painting into a meaning.
Yes, absolutely. Like I feel that so deeply too, because there are times in the studio when I realize, oh, I'm not coming here like from my body. I'm coming here from my mind.
Mm,
And it's like this weird pattern of just like, it's not good enough. It's not the right color. It's, not this, not that. And then I take a step back. I'm thinking to myself, we didn't come here to be perfect or, create this incredible, like, I don't know, real life looking woman. We came in here to express what that woman like feels. And that could be an abstract painting. It could be like a man. Like it doesn't have to be like a literal woman.
mm,
And so sometimes when I'm also describing my art, I feel like that's where I struggle to to really like sometimes share, this isn't just like a woman that you're seeing. You're seeing my energy from, memories. You're seeing, maybe heartache or frustration or excitement. You're seeing so many things in like the way I'm expressing my brush strokes and the color I'm using and all these things. And so when I get past the thinking, like all the overthinking, that's literally where it goes. It goes into that flow state.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. Like I love to hear that you as an artist, you also like, have those like struggles, and that by creating it frees you like
Yes.
from the overthinking.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, yes. Like sometimes my painting makes me like the most miserable. It's hilarious how much it makes me feel. I'm just like, I go through it all. And it's a little bit crazy. It's like, okay, what the heck am I am I doing? But like the point is, at least like to me, that I get to experience those feelings, but because they're not so personalized anymore, they're not really about me. I have put them onto a painting. Like it's just gets a little bit easier to navigate the emotional world sometimes. And yeah, I love that you described that shift when you're kind of like, wait a minute, I'm in my head. Actually, we didn't come here for this, right? And then you slowly start going into the body, and you actually start seeing what you're actually doing. And isn't like that's the most interesting part of the creation process, right? Like what shifts? Like what happens? You know? Like
I can't say. I can only
I
just like,
know, right?
it's like a feeling that happens where it's almost like you're like, for me, like my shoulders just kind of like soften, and I kind of breathe more easy. I'm not like holding my breath. I'm not like so tight on the brush. It's almost like I just kind of like lean into like this ease, and then it becomes like this excitement where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. This feels so like liberating to just
Yes. Yeah.
creating. Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate to that a lot because yeah, I mean, there are phases in the creation process that I can notice this. And sometimes it's in the beginning that I started out and I'm like exactly like kind of tense, and I'm trying to prove something with my actions, with the brush strokes or with whatever comes out like. But at some point I'm just like, "Oh my God, this is first of all boring. Like what am I trying?" And then I'm like, "Oh right. Let's just have a little bit of fun." And then it becomes enjoyable. So I guess maybe that's a good thing to recognize, like when it feels tense and it's like pushing and forcing, it's uncomfortable. There's like an agenda behind me. There's trying something. It doesn't feel nice to paint that way or create that way, anything. But then it slowly shifts into when you kind of become painfully aware of that moment that you're trying so hard and you're like, whoops. And then you can drop into that, and then you feel that you are painting, and it's yeah, that's just the best.
Yeah.
That's the best, because then you can just be yourself, and that's the whole point. It's
Yeah.
less about the painting, it's just more about like what you're doing, and being with yourself. And like I think we are both really like creating from this kind of intention too, to be like, let's come back to ourselves, like, right? Like the expressive, like enjoying the expressive process.
Yes.
Uh,
Exactly.
and
That's
what I really like,
exactly it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
think a
then I
lot of
love how you,
yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
yeah. Just like back and forth, back and forth. No, but yeah. And what I especially like about your process and your art is how you are making the connection into the sensuality. And I think like I love that so much, and I hope that that could be also something like that, starts to unfold for me as well a bit, because it is such a powerful energy when we learn to use our sensual energy in the creation process. I think it becomes like even more embodied, because you have to be in the body, right, to do it from that energy.
Yes. Yeah.
But like,
if you
yeah,
truly want it to be like a deep connection, yeah, that's been my experience.
yeah, exactly. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I just wanted to ask you a question, like, if that's okay, that what could you like describe like the difference between an experience when you really feel that you're creating from the sensual energy, and then when you're like not really?
Mm.
Like, what is kind of like, how does those different states feel for
Mhm.
you?
So the opposite of sensuality, I would say, is rigidity. It's this
Mm,
really rigid nature. And it's exactly what we were describing before. It's that like in the mind, that tense feeling that it has to be a certain way.
yeah.
And it's almost like that process becomes stale. And
Ah,
it's almost unenjoyable for me. And so I think that even though I'm creating something, it's almost like the energy that's like within me isn't flowing through my brush. It's just as though I'm absorbing this
cool.
very just tense and not enjoyable energy. It's just like blah. And it's not a sense of like when I feel like angry or sadness, or that's not what it is. It's almost like forcing, like I'm pushing through something that isn't like getting me to like anywhere. It's just like I'm just like pushing, pushing, pushing.
Mm,
And when I fall into my sensuality, it's almost like that the relaxation of like my shoulders. I feel like I drop into like my belly. I feel into like everything just becomes like hypersensitive. I start to
mm,
like really tune in to like my clothing and what I'm wearing, and I can really feel like the connection from like my brush, my bristles, or even like if I have paint on my hands, I can actually like experience it. And I'm not just like, oh, I'm just putting some paint on. It's actually like
right.
feeling the paint on my fingertips to the paper or the canvas or whatever it is. And I take a moment to actually like look at my hands and to be like, wow, like so grateful that I have hands.
Mm,
And it's like all simultaneously, like in the same moment, that is just like, yes, yes, yes. It's just like this whole, like, honestly, like an orgasmic feeling, but like
mm.
it lasts for hours. It's like, and I'm like, wait, 12 hours has gone by.
Would you describe that it's kind of like the same as flow, like very like you're very awarely in your flow?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. The only way that I can like describe it is like meditation. That's the
Mm.
closest like I've come to anything else.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
other than that is like a meditative state.
yeah.
Because what other state of my, or what other thing have I done that I'm just in that whole nother like place outside of my body, yet I'm
Mm.
inside of my body that transcends time. And the only other time has been through meditation when I'm like, oh, wait, it felt like hours. And it was just like a 15-minute meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
And with painting, it's like, oh, but that just felt like 5 minutes. It's been 12 hours. I haven't eaten anything yet. So yeah, that's really where it goes. I'm curious, what
Yeah.
about you? Like, do you feel like when you create, do you feel sensual?
Yeah, and it's really cool that you're opening, like you were telling about your process, because I'm like, well, I can totally relate to that. And I was just kind of feeling into how when you were describing that you kind of become like the energy from your body flows through your brush. And I was like, whoa, I love that so much. And I realized like I am in a similar space that you described, but I also noticed that I'm not so fully aware of my body when I'm in there. It's more like I kind of just become like a conversation in the painting, like inside of it or something like this. And it's like, and now I can't wait to get to painting because I want to try now the kind of like the other type of approach of just like really like feeling the energy come through my hands and put it there, because I think there's something to explore now. But yes, the flow and the time kind of just flying by, and you going somewhere even though you're there, that's always the most nourishing and fulfilling painting sessions, because it's just about that action. And I feel like maybe I'm only now starting to really get to that, like understanding that that's the freaking point, because I don't know about you, but I've also needed to like work through a lot of these like attachments to the artwork itself, which has really like prevented me from enjoying the process. Because there might have been moments or paintings where I'm like, I'm loving this so much. And then I kind of come out of the flow, and then I look the actual, end product, and I can experience like a lot of like resentment towards the painting, or at least I used to. And this is something I'm really growing out of, which is like so cool. Thank you. But like, because it's been quite like intense to be in that flow state, and then you come out of that, and then you see the product, and then your mind gets on, because you're also a little bit like, you might be hungry, a little bit tired, honestly, and like, at least in my case, I'm kind of like depleted a little bit in a positive way, like not depleted by my soul, but depleted in my physicality, and I need to nourish myself. So if I then come out of that flow state, and I give attention to that mind that might have become a little bit like, activated, like those has been the really like hardest parts for me, because then I'm like, I don't get it, like there's a lot of confusion, like I love doing this, but then I'm just like so kind of like disappointed, and like I feel it's not good enough, and like what is the point of me doing that? And yeah, wow, now that I'm talking this out loud, I'm kind of realizing as well that that's that's where I still need to hold myself. Like really, I really need to learn to hold myself in that space as well, because that's probably where like that nervous system, yeah, kind of activation or something is going off. And then if I let that describe the experience, of course I will feel a bit like the rug was taken underneath my feet. Like, can you relate to this experience?
Yes.
Or like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And I feel that way with pricing. I feel like I'm either pricing it too low or too high. And oftentimes it's when I get to that point that I feel it's not going to be good enough for me. If I let it go at too low of a price, or in my case, low, I'm going to not resent, but I'm going to regret my decision to even sell the piece, because it's so much more valuable to me. And then I think to myself, if I'm selling it for this much, I start to get into that feeling it's not enough. It means too much to me. And so I toggle between these two like types of like feelings and mindsets. And then what I'm really realizing is that the aligned person that I want to own my art will. And whatever price I've chosen for that it will be in alignment. And so I've slowly needed to like come into that and trust that process, and also like reassure myself that this isn't the end. We are going to keep creating more and more and more, and we're going to look back on those pieces, and they're going to be so important to like the whole foundational process of what we now can create. But they're not the only thing that we can create. But when they're new and they're in the world, I almost feel like they're like my babies. Like I want to like protect them, and I want to keep them safe and all for myself. But with an artist, it's like you can turn around and sell a piece like so quick. And so sometimes you don't have that process to kind of like be with it and then grieve and actually, oh yeah, put a price on it. So I think that that's where my like energy kind of relates to yours.
Yeah. But it is a very interesting topic, the pricing, because it is so personal, and how we see it, and when can we let go of them, and what is going to be enough, and is there such thing as too much, like all these, I guess. And maybe that is a part of growing into the artist of who we are, who we want to be. And then also like accepting, like you said, that, well, this is an ongoing process. Like it's not ending there either. And, we do need to make the mistakes to also find the right aligned version of us. And I mean, it is painful. Like I can tell you, it is painful. But yeah, I mean, of course, it is painful because you're putting your things out there and you're kind of like wobbly about that. You don't really know art world and selling art in itself. It is, wild, who decides what. So then you have to, like you said, you have to find your sweet spot that feels good to you, that you don't feel like there's like this, oh no, I let it go to whatever, or this feels a bit too dot dot dot, but and maybe it takes time. It definitely takes time, in my case at least, to kind of like find and feel into that. And yeah.
Definitely. I'm also finding that I feel better when I know that this art is really speaking to someone on like such a deep level, and it makes me feel so like joyous to know that it's bringing someone like a feeling in their space. That feeling is completely like their own and uniquely their own. And I mean, how I created that piece, I'm going to feel differently about how they feel. But the fact that we're making that connection simply through like what I've created is just, it's incredible. Like, what other profession can really like, do that? Like with just something as simple as like color and a canvas. Like, it's just
True. I haven't thought about it that way, but it's very special actually, because you can connect on a very deep level, like while having your own perception of the same thing. And I guess that's why it is so beautiful to create art and yeah, explore art, because we learn more about ourselves as we do that. Because like, why does something feel something to us and then something doesn't? Like, why? Is there something we're not seeing, or is there something da da da? It's like, it's just a big question mark. Like, and it mirrors back our own depths, at least how I see it. And it's like, it's the coolest thing to be a part of this, to be creating. And yeah, like just learning about myself through art, and then connecting with others like you, and just having these conversations and sharing, like all of a sudden, like understanding that we're maybe a bit like we are like deep down we are all much similar than we are different.
Exactly.
But it doesn't seem that way when we look out into the world, and we, all these stories that we're like told, and this harsh energy that is out there,
Yeah.
it just seems like it's just full of separation, but actually, like, come on, we're much more similar,
Yes. Like at the
Yeah.
core of it, like I want to believe that people want to live in peace. Like,
Yes, totally, totally, totally.
and we're just working through that in our own ways. And so
Yeah.
I think for me, like how I create peace in my life is through my creativity. And which is like a huge reason why I, have started to do like my workshops. It's because I want people to realize when you have, when you give yourself space to be creative, when you get out of your mind and come back into the body and you allow yourself to create, doesn't matter if you're coming from a background where you know how to create hyper realistic art, or you haven't picked up a crayon since you were a little kid. You intuitively know as a human being how to create and how to express yourself. And so that's been like the biggest like reward of all. Like even sometimes more so than when I'm in my studio, like creating alone, it's that human connection. And then seeing like people's eyes just like open to like that, just like creative flow, like that sensuality, that expressionism, like all that to me is like the biggest high ever, because I know now, like my energy, my vibration is no longer just me. It's like lifting with everybody that's around me. And I can
That's so cool. Yeah. I can feel it when you're talking about it now. I'm like lit up here as well. So it is very like tangible, and yeah, what's the word? It we can feel it from each other when we are in that space of creation and get inspired together. Like there's nothing better. Like it's just, let's be inspired together. Like let's create and have fun and see what comes up, and also like laugh at our creations, because what even is the things that is coming out? Like sometimes those are also the best things. Like we don't know what it is, but we don't need to know. We don't need to analyze everything as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, to bring also that point, I'm realizing, because, for example, I love to put a lot of meaning. There is a lot of meaning in art, but also sometimes just being in that space of like, not everything needs to be so explained or something like that. Like, okay, it's what it is. Like, I guess that's what I'm trying to really learn a bit more, maybe. But yeah.
I recently was mentoring my cousin, and there's like a type of like closed offness that people get. It's almost like, oh, I have to do it a certain way type of energy. And the moment that I allow, like, well, I don't allow, people allow themselves to like open up to like just playing with different types of mediums. And it's almost like they start to realize, oh, wow, I see something in this thing that I just created. I rolled some paint, I, threw on something else, and hey, it kind of looks like a, mountain, or it kind of looks like a bird, or whatever it is. And I think for every individual, they're going to see that abstract piece differently. But ultimately, they're actually stopping to see something not from that rigidity, but from that just like free flowing expression. And they're like, I created something. It's like, yeah, that's you. Like, you literally didn't have to be thinking to yourself that there's a wrong or right way. It's just like, I need to show up and be like safe to express, like,
Yeah, true.
like a kid.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much.
I also feel like that energy that I'm describing, it's a part of energetics that I'm really getting into right now, and I'm really deep diving into. And as a kid, like I didn't really know like what it was. I could only like describe like the feeling, but now I'm understanding that it's like eroticism, that it's a form of like life force, like that feeling when you're seeing someone, you're witnessing them, and you're like leaning into that energy, like I feel that too. And I feel like it's a mirror. Like when I see things in people that light me up, it's a mirror into myself and what I like, what I desire or what I want to do more of, or what I want to have more of in my life. And so I have this jar, and it has numbers on it, and I have some questions about eroticism. Would you like to pick a number?
Yeah, let's go for it. I'll do 4.
Oh, 4. I was just gonna stick my hand in. Let's see. You tell me what.
Oh, okay, so I didn't need to pick.
You just tell me when to stop, and I'll grab.
Oh, okay. You can stop now.
1. Okay, let's see.
Interesting.
Let's see. What's number 1? Okay. When did you first realize desire could be a source of power rather than something to hide or manage?
Oh, wow. When did I realize that desire was something to...
When did you first realize desire could be a source of power rather than something to hide or manage?
Honestly, I think I'm kind of realizing that currently. Like it has been hidden on the back seat for quite a while. Like I literally, in the beginning of this year, noticed myself thinking that I don't deserve to have or do things that I desire.
Mm.
And it was just like, whoa, I had not realized that it was so heavily weighing me down. Like I've been in this like should good girl safe path in a way.
Mm.
And it started to scream to me like, why are you not giving me attention? Like I'm your desire. Like I'm in the same team. And I just like, so I think I'm now only starting to realize that. And I think I was connected to that more when I was a teenager. But I think it was manifesting through me in a more like destructive way.
Mm.
From like wanting to have a lot of attention from guys through my looks, for example, and finding that like playing with that sexual energy in that way. But so I felt my power in that way.
Mm.
Um, but it was quite intense, and there was like not great experiences, and I feel like I kind of shut off that part of me because I was ashamed.
Mm.
And then I started to like put myself in a box that was like, okay, let's balance that out with being like really like perfect or something like this, like being on the healing journey and just trying to fix yourself basically. But
Mm.
fixing yourself, there's none of that like flowy sensuality and like, it's just cold and tense.
Yeah.
And I even feel it in my body how long I've been in that, tensed state. And it's like really opposite of my natural energy. I feel like there's so much that wants to come out like through this, sensual expression and these kind of like in a constructive and healthy and beautiful way, like owning it for myself and not trying to gain anything from it.
Mm.
So what a cool question. Thank you. I didn't wow, it's been very suffocated, you know. So I I do really want to explore this more, like how to open that up and like feel more connected to my desire. Because that's so powerful.
It's super powerful. And this is exactly like why like I want to have like more people like you in like spaces like this, because it's like even someone like you who's an artist who expresses herself, she gets that much closer to her deepest like why when she can have like these open conversations and be like, wow, I haven't checked in with desire lately. Yeah,
No,
bring
yeah.
that into my art now or my life or whatever it is.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. I mean, there are so many layers as
I
well,
love it so
you
much.
know?
Tell me
Yeah.
about those layers.
Like, how much am I able to give myself permission to just be all that is? Like, because it's like, I don't know about you, but are you like, I'm sometimes like even afraid of those, like, you
Mm,
know, sensual like desires and like that kind of really powerful feeling of what I have inside. Like, is that just me kind of like not being so familiar with it, or does it scare you sometimes, or like, do you know what I mean, or like
mhm.
I just yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that it scares me, but I've had like recent experiences. The more that I've become more in tune with my sensuality and my eroticism, I noticed that there's been people that don't take well to that subject.
Oh
And
yeah, okay.
because it's met with resistance, it's
Mm,
almost like I have to either challenge, that narrative within my mind. Are we going to go back to how we used to be, small
mm,
in the box? Or are we going to say, I'm safe, I'm moving on with this energy because I know this is safe and expansive for me. Whatever
yeah.
the other person has to say about it, like that's for them to work through. It's a complete projection onto me that they don't feel secure in their erotic energy, in their expansiveness. And
Yeah.
so it's taken me some time to actually be able to have these conversations. And even though I felt this energy since I was like a little kid, like feeling like very sex positive and very curious, and you know i I felt that way with guys too, where I just wanted them to like look at me and pay attention to me. But I
Mm,
don't think it was necessarily always about, oh, I just want attention. It was the fact that I wanted to like feel like deeply within, that it
mm,
wasn't just like within me, it was also outside of me. Like I wanted to
mm,
find that
yeah.
familiarity in other people as well.
That's cool. Yeah.
Like
I
deep
understand that. That's beautiful. Yeah.
this, because I
Yeah.
felt that part of myself, because of my religion growing up, it was very hidden, it was shamed. There's a lot of like tension around that subject.
Yeah.
So when I finally like worked through that and realized, oh, I don't have to continue to believe these types of stories that I've been told, these beliefs about God, and that God won't love me or that he'll punish me or all these things, I started to realize, wow, God is this energy that I'm
Mm,
experiencing, and I
yeah.
embrace it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
And I realized like there was just um like an insight, because I realized how with like the creative energy, it's very sexual, like it's sexual energy, it's sacral energy flowing through us, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it makes sense then that like if like when we are suffocated and feel stuck in our own creativity, like it's not only about the creativity, actually. It's also about we feeling like we're suffocating in our like sexuality, or like shaming it, or not having space to explore it in a safe way, like, and especially within ourselves. because I don't think it's very encouraged, like in our world. Like it's kind of this inner awakening that happens, and then you start to do that on your own, and like realizing, like healing the shame if there's some, you know, but it's such a like taboo still. And I totally understand that when you're starting to talk about eroticism, sensuality, that might, like, for some people, they can't even take in what you're about to say after, because they're already in that box of like, okay, alarm, what is this? Because we have so small, boxes or
Yeah.
or like pathways to talk about these subjects.
Yeah. And I think like for probably like me, like most people, I mean, I grew up and the way that you could obtain that information, right, was from school, your family, or from
Yeah,
porn.
yeah.
And so for me, I didn't really know like where to go. And so I kind of just like picked up things on my own, like from everything, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you also realize that it's not it's it's not the type of like free flowing energy. You start to realize, oh,
True.
this person, like what they told me is like really like kind of scary. And then what porn shows me, that's kind of intense. Like, I don't know if I want to go there. Like, and so like all these different things come up, and then you start to wonder, like, who am I then? Am I weird for
Mm,
wanting this thing?
yeah, yeah.
Because friends will talk, or because you hear things on, you know, on the TV or social media. And then you start to look inward and you're like, oh, I'm actually really weird and all these things. And you start to make yourself small. But this is the exact opposite. It's like we can have these conversations, we can have these safe spaces to actually explore outside of just what we know with our family and our friends and pornography. Like it's so much more than just sex, you know?
Yeah, exactly that. It's such a simplified way that we've learned to view sex or our own sexuality.
Yeah.
It's such a like disservice to, like, honestly, like to humans, to humanity, like, because we lose contact with this powerful version of ourselves. We lose contact with the desire within us. And honestly, we become numb,
Yeah.
you know? And it's not, yeah, like you said, it's not so much about sex. It's just more about like that creation, that life force energy that, can it flow freely through you, you
Yeah.
know? And it's like a beautiful flowy energy, or is it like rigid? And is there like these thoughts and narratives and stories how it must be or should be or can't be? And it's like, it is actually crazy.
And judgments too. Like
Yeah, judgments.
judgment is such a huge thing. I even catch myself often when I'm, about to put like a post up on Instagram and it's a little bit more like, I don't know, like expressive, sensual, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I like kind of hold myself for a moment. I'm like, am I going to offend someone by
Mm,
speaking my truth? It's
yeah.
like, no, because I'm not intentionally trying to hurt anybody by putting this information out there. I'm trying to attract the people into my life who want to have these conversations with me. Anybody else that's not ready, it's like, okay, they'll fall away, they'll turn
Yeah,
their attention elsewhere.
yeah. Yeah, I can really recognize that same like heavy feeling, like, oh, should I do, like, am I gonna offend somebody by saying the things that I feel inside, or am I gonna be misunderstood? But I like how you said, like, you're not intentionally trying to hurt anybody. That's not the point. And and like, yeah, I feel like we are on the path of healing ourselves and bringing healing to the world through our own journeys, and like truth is healing. And when there are these like things on top of that we are uncomfortable of, like, that's our edges, that's our work, we need to question ourselves. We need to see how much we are like yeah, making ourselves smaller or not allowing ourselves to expand or feel into what's going on, and we have put this label on, like, don't go there.
Yeah.
And then, like you said in the beginning, like there are a lot of projections, because also not everybody is willing to go there, and I guess they don't have to, but it doesn't mean that the people who want to go there shouldn't go there, because this is actually like extremely important things. These are really important conversations to bring up, because then we don't have to feel so weird inside of ourselves or alone, because like there's so many things, and we often share similar experiences of feeling just very lost, especially about a topic of sexuality, like, and no wonder that we just, I don't know, in my case, for example, I needed to kind of put that somewhere else for a little bit, and then come back to that, because life is complex and there are things, but like coming back to that, oh, I love, it's the best feeling when you are connected to that. It is so, I feel so alive when I'm connected to that, and it doesn't have to feel dirty. Like that's like something that I've struggled with, like this feeling of like there's like I'm dirty if I feel that like I'm sexual, or there's this kind of, shame or like this heaviness. And that's really something I want to like move through and explore and like free myself from, because I know the truth that it's not dirty, and I think it's just picked up from somewhere, like another, attempt to suffocate women or something that I've picked up on. But yeah, this is like a very, interesting topic, and yeah, cool to talk about this.
Yeah. It's so refreshing to hear that people are so similar. Not in the sense that like you want someone to suffer alongside you, but it just feels like a comfort to know that you're not alone in this type
Mm.
of um in this type of work. When we're working through these types of feelings and emotions, and then we're able to see, hey, like so and so feels that way too, then you're like, wow, like I'm not as alone as I thought I was. And even though their situation, their feelings are different than mine, it's still like valid. Like we're still all humans, like just going about this human experience. And this whole like idea that we're also different, and that we shouldn't feel this way, and all these like things that have been put onto us, that we can also like shed them from our lives as well. Like, and that we
Yeah.
can create, just like we can create a painting, we can create our lives. And we can create our
Yeah.
lives so that we're surrounded by people that want to have these conversations and explore these depths of just energetics and creativity and fun and all this like beautiful liveliness, and not fixate on the negative, not fixate on the things that spiral us down, but actually like
Yeah.
spiral us up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Um, like, have you always had your spiral going upward? Or did you have a moment where you kind of catched yourself from the downward spiral and just needed to make like a shift?
I feel like my life hasn't been linear. I feel like there's been many moments where the things around me like are spiraling down. Like my parents got divorced at a very young age, and they were the first in the family to get divorced. And so when that happened, I just felt like everything around me was just like in turmoil, and I was
Mm.
navigating so many different things. And so I feel like for me, that would have led my whole life to feel like it was spiraling down and me with it. But even though everything was spiraling, I still felt like I could like attach myself to the thing, or not attach, but like connect myself to the people that grounded me, connected myself to my sketchbook, which is where I created, you know, my first like erotic art. And so I feel like art has always been this very grounding thing for me, you know, seeking out people who wanted to have those conversations with me when my parents were too busy working or fighting to actually have these conversations about sex openly with me. And so I feel like in my life, there's just been many moments where I've kind of spiraled, yes, but not like stayed down there. I was
Yeah.
always able to find something to like bring me up, like even in my
Yeah.
own like energy. And I think in more recent years, when I felt myself really disconnected to my body, and I was just like so much anxiety and so much fear, like after the pandemic, I didn't really work through that. And so when I found my coach, I realized, wow, there's like a lot of things that really needed to be worked through, like from my past, the things that I don't want to take into my future. And so I feel like throughout the day, there can be moments where I'm like thinking a certain way that's like spiraling me down. I'm like, nope, we don't think like that anymore. We like this. And then there are
Yeah.
days where I spiral down and I'm like, I just want to lay here on
Oh
the
well.
and be
Yeah.
miserable and I just want to be
Yeah.
left alone. And so I have
Yeah.
those days too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm always up. Like,
No, yeah, just like I love to like understand like like what makes the shift that we are aware to make that decision that we actually like no, we're not going to go down to the spiral, or okay, we're going to let ourselves be in that today, or we're like, you know, like lifting ourselves up from the biggest disconnection. Because I feel like when I experience those disconnections, like whether it's throughout the day or like bigger ones that have built up, exactly kind of like you said, that there's just so much unprocessed energy. Like I know for that version of myself, it just feels impossible to be connected to my creativity, to my sexual energy. Like don't even try, you know? And I feel like this is where I have like this I don't know, compassion for also like for the struggles that we go through, because it is literally impossible to feel that flowy and, you know, nice energy within when we are so tensed up. And that's, I guess, like that's the danger of that too, right? Like how can we help each other to be less tense? Like how can we yeah, somehow like help ourselves and help each other to notice when we are tense that actually now this is not the truth of us, and how can we find back to the connection and to that sensuality and that warmer feeling within, because it's just really devastating, like, you know, when you are in there, like life feels horrible, but then it's so funny as well because the medicine is to connect with the creativity, but there is the biggest resistance, you know.
yeah,
And it's, I don't know, like I love creating, I love painting, and it is my medicine, but like I can feel this within myself too, you know.
yeah.
So it's just a very interesting, yeah, topic to think about, like uh, how can we find into that positive spiral, or that we at least know that it's there, that we can connect to that, and then we just, you know, we find our ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, yeah, yeah,
I think for me, what I've also realized is that because of a lot of my friends are overseas, and so when I'm awake, they're asleep. And so it almost feels like even if I wanted to like reach out to a friend to make a connection that way, they're not available till tomorrow or my tonight.
Mm.
And so what I've found is that simply like going out into nature like just resets me. It almost like interrupts like my pattern. And like there are days where I'm like, I don't even want to step outside. But the moment that
Yeah.
I do, it's almost like the fresh air, it like breathes life into my lungs. I'm like feeling the textures of the trees. I'm taking it nice and slow. I start to feel like, wow, like why would I deny myself, this? Like even if I'm feeling
Yeah.
or I'm feeling like I'm working through a difficult, time, I can find joy in just like watching the squirrels like chase each other like on a walk, or when I'm walking and I get surprised by the deer that are like just grazing. So like for me, like those little moments like are just so uplifting. And so I need to often remind myself, like, go outside. Like you've been in your studio, you've been, I don't know, doing laundry and you've been answering emails and all this different stuff. What have you
Doing the
done?
task list.
Ground yourself today. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just getting outside for me. It just
Yeah.
like brings me back to life a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Actually, like it can be simple too, actually. Like go outside. Like have some like yeah. I can definitely recognize that too. And sometimes it takes a bit longer to come back to that. All right. Everything's actually all right. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, there's days where I dance all throughout the house. And even if I'm just feeling like really like low, it's like just this movement. If that's all I can do today, then that's okay. Like, then that's what we're going to do today. And we're not going to judge that in ourselves. And I think for
Yeah.
the longest time I did judge, the fact that I wasn't doing enough, or I felt like whatever it was that I was doing, it wasn't enough. And so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So basically, sensuality is actually about letting yourself just be as you are in whatever feeling you're feeling. And it's just not judging yourself for your experience. Yes,
That
I need
acceptance is
this.
huge.
I need this. I mean, I honestly, I haven't thought about it in this perspective. And I love this because I feel like it's somehow easier to approach. Like, hey, and also, like you said, like, why would I deny this softness within me? And then it becomes like so clear, like, yeah, why? Like, I don't want to do that. But sometimes the harshness of that resistance, and when you're moving through something, and the control and the judgment, it's just like it gets so intense. But then, okay, when I just let it be, that already like helps so much. Like maybe it's fine. Maybe you haven't done anything wrong. Maybe you don't have to fix yourself from this. Like, like I'm now starting to see like you were saying that it's this the opposite of sensuality is like the rigidness. And it comes through with the words like control, fixing. It's like here in the front of your head, like nee, nee, nee. Like this like a claw.
Mm. Mm. And it's just
Mm-mm.
sucking your soul,
Yeah.
but like
Oh my God, it
directly to
just
yourself.
freaking sucks that soul. It's like it's just absolutely horrible. Like those are the demons.
Mm.
And I and the the antidote is the sensuality.
I feel like a huge part of that for me has been also compassion as well, like compassion for those rigid parts. Because when what was it? I addressed my shame, what was it, like a couple years ago. And I went into like this really deep meditation with my coach. And when I finally like was there in a room with my shame, it was small and frail and just backed into a corner. And all I could do was just like gently like go up to it and like hug my shame. And when I did that, when I showed it compassion instead of like forcing it away and into that corner for so long, it like just grew. It grew into like this confidence and this like just bright like energy. Like even now, I'm like, I can feel it like just coming off of my shoulders. And so I think that like for everyone, it's going to be different. Maybe it won't be shame, maybe it'll be something else. But yeah, that's like the whole reason like why I do this work. Like sensuality is so huge because it's like it encompasses so much. Like, but ultimately it's about like having compassion for yourself, like in your body, like what you feel, not just like sensations, but also like in your energetics, in your just in your energy as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's truly like that. Like, yeah, the shame and these harsh parts within us that get activated and the self-judgment, like, I mean, they won't go away with harshness. Like even if you try, like the healing always comes when we remember, like, okay, actually we can love them because they felt that they were never loved. So we can finally love them and kind of free ourselves through that act, through our own love.
Yeah.
And like it sounds sometimes like it's abstract or vague, but it's real, you know? Like when you give love to that shame, it's it yeah, it expresses itself to you, and then you're not against each other anymore.
Yeah.
You can understand.
Yeah.
And like there's the beautiful scene, and I think it's that movie Spirited Away.
Mm.
But there's this like big character that everybody else is really afraid. But the main character, like she really shows love and understanding, and finally I think she starts to wash it or something. I don't completely remember how it went
Mhm.
because they were in this big spa or something. And then it just becomes free because of her love, and she sees through the kind of like shield that the character needed to create around it. It's like, oh, it's so beautiful, and I think it's just such a beautiful expression of how we heal shame.
Mm.
Um, yeah, yeah,
It's beautiful stuff. Like these types of conversations are so powerful. Like being able to have them firstly, but then actually being met like with someone that like understands, like, you know, and it's so refreshing to have this conversation with you, like truly. And I'm so appreciative to you for that.
yeah. Likewise, I'm blown away how many realizations I got from my own sensuality. Um, it's been really helpful. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, this is like a beautiful place to like leave off. But before we go, I want to know if there was a message that you can give to Maija from one of those difficult times in your life where you feel like really low. What would you tell her?
I would tell her that it's all gonna be all right, and this is not like a meaningless experience, but these are actually really important on your path, and I wish you didn't have to be so hard on yourself when you feel really lost or scared or afraid. That I'm here with you all the time, and you will find your way back to your connection.
I could literally just feel like the tingles, like just go from like my face to my shoulders, like all the way out. I love that so much. I feel like the blue heart, like just
Oh yeah, that's
coming to you.
yes. Inner guide. Yes, she is.
Mhm.
She has been activated within us.
I love that so much. And my painting is blue.
Oh, that's true. Wow.
I didn't
I
even
love
like
that.
think about
Beautiful.
that. There you go.
Oh, I love it. It's like this intuitive, yeah, spiritual maturity vibes.
Your blue is already radiating throughout the world and you don't even realize it.
Perhaps, and then, yeah, then we get to realize that too. So we can nourish ourselves with that as well. And not only give,
Yes.
but
And
to remember to give to ourselves. Yeah.
of course, it's a beautiful balance. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate you and your beautiful energy.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And I really enjoyed talking with you.
This sunset that's setting is just incredible. Talk about like just presence. Thank you again to Maija Rantala for joining me and just being so beautiful and present. Thank you for opening your heart to this conversation, for trusting me with your insights and your creative expression. And just, I am so grateful to have conversations like this, because it really truly shows that when you go out of your way to think differently, to feel differently, to lean into maybe those uncomfortable conversations, like it compounds over time. And so this is what this whole podcast is about: a recovering good girl that just decided to change things up. And in doing that, I've met so many incredible people. I've met so many different parts of myself that have like shifted and healed and just become so much more than I ever imagined. And so if you're looking for a space dedicated to presence practices and just little slight erotic awakenings and how to bring that into your day to day, I have created a Telegram channel dedicated to this. And I had the most beautiful recording of a face massage. And so you can follow along as I instruct you on how to give yourself this very sensual, meditative, like face massage. So yeah, I hope you join the channel. There's going to be so much more to come, and I look forward to the next one.